There's so much to do, helping out people everywhere. I remember when we first got married and how anxious I was to be a father. I
remember too.
When we were dating, I wrote you a love letter because you lived in
Yes.
Allentown and I was all the way over in Milford, Mass. And I wrote you a love letter. And in that love letter, I told you how I was going to treat you in the house. By the way, did you notice that the house we live in is a white picket fence?
Yes, yes.
I promised that the house would have a white picket fence, and I said, and we're gonna have 2 children, and I named them when we were dating, probably 6 years before we got married.
That's right.
And I said we were gonna have a boy named Herson Jazz and a girl named Melody, and that's exactly what we have. But I was always ready to have a baby, but you weren't.
No.
You wanted to enjoy that.
It was like, I do. And he goes, let's have babies.
Yeah.
And I was like, no,
I
I had this
babies.
5-year plan. We were waiting 5 years. There was no way in the world that we were going to have children before the time that I had allotted for the children.
And you kind of almost talked me into it. You talked about how we should enjoy each other and just travel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was that it just kind of got tired of just, no.
Not nice.
No, that's not what happened. We were actually having a great time.
Yeah.
We were on vacation. We were in Key West.
Yes.
And my body.
With my parents and your parents, both sets.
Yeah, both sets of parents. We were having a fantastic time. And I always tell women who are having trouble conceiving that all you need is to take a vacation. And there are 2 places that I'm sure are fertile ground.
We know that for sure.
Key West. That was my son Jazz. He was conceived there.
And
then
Montreal, Canada.
My daughter was conceived in Montreal, Canada.
Darn right.
So any one of those 2 places, just take a quick vacation and you'll get out of them. But anyways, I didn't know I was pregnant. I was still in my mindset I didn't want to have children. And I thought I had food poisoning. And with this whole food poisoning, I got really, really sick. But anyways, on the way back from Key West, I was in the airplane, and all of a sudden, I got overwhelmed with this desire to be a mother. Little did I know that there was already something inside of me, a little something called Jazz. But I was so overwhelmed, and I turned to my husband, and I said, we're going home, and we're going to try to have a family. Now, my husband, if you know him, he was like, okay, let's go right now. but I was like, no. But we didn't know, and I came home and was still sick. Went into the to my doctors to tell them, how do I get rid of this food poisoning? And I found out that we were expecting Jazz, and it was such an overwhelming feeling of joy. But I guess the main thing that I wanted to share with the audience is how quickly motherhood changes you, even before you know it. Your body begins to react differently. And my son changed me in more ways than just making me sick and for 6.5 months.
Yeah. It was brutal. I don't know how you did it.
Yeah, I think I was a lot more selfish and self-centered before Jazz came along. And I always tell him, Jazz, you came into this world and God brought you to this world to change people. And I know that because the first person you changed is me.
Yep.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah, you're getting emotional, aren't you?
I am. No, it's the hoarseness.
Yes.
Yeah, my son is the special relationship that I have with him. It's because he brought into my life experiences that I never even dreamed of. The way that I loved him, the way that he would look at me. He had this big round head.
Perfectly round dome.
Perfect.
Bald.
And I would walk in the room and I could see his eyes looking for me. And it was just the most warming feeling in the world.
And it did change you, and I saw the change. And becoming a wife changed you, but when you became a mom, you became a different person. It changed not just who you were toward the kids, but who you were toward me. And it was one of the best things that we've ever experienced in our lives. And I'm sure that today you might be nostalgic and thinking a little bit about how your kids have changed your lives. Enjoy that, celebrate that. And children, make sure that you celebrate your mom today. Buy her the flowers and make that phone call. Today's going to be a busy day. Make sure you do it nice and early. We're going to show you a couple of more videos about mothers in the Bible. We'll be right back after this video presentation.
The emptiness of a barren mother is not an easy one to fill. The pain that is in your heart when you're longing to have a little life to share, your love and care for is unexplainable. But in the story of Hannah, we see how she pleaded to God for her dream to be fulfilled. She did not give up, and through her devotion and faithfulness, God heard her cry. Isaiah 54:1 says, "Sing, O barren woman, you who never bore a child. Burst into song, shout for joy, you who were never in labor. Because more are the children of the barren woman than of her who has a husband." God understands the pain of a childless mother, and through Hannah, the Bible gives us hope that one day we can behold our Samuel.
It was a difficult time to have a baby boy. In that era, there was an order to kill all newborn baby boys. Sometimes it seems like the wrong time to have a child and a decision needs to be made. The decision you need to make is hard, but during this time as a mother, you forsake your own desires and you think about what's best for your child. Jochebed had to put her full trust in the Lord and believe that he would take care of her child when she could not be a part of his life. Placing Moses in a basket and sending him down the river to Pharaoh's daughter was her way of arranging an adoption. She trusted God to fulfill his purpose in Moses, and God proved faithful. Jochebed had no options left. She put her son in the hands of another mother who saved his life and educated him. One day he became the deliverer of the Israelites. He led them out of slavery. Any mother that has found herself in a tough situation and has chosen to release her child in the care of another can find hope in the Word of God. That life is not a mistake. And just like with Jochebed and Moses, God will make the best out of our tough choices.